In today's climate, nothing will make you a more accurate or confident shooter than Crimson Trace laser sighting systems. Get the immediate, decisive advantage of the world's only grip-integrated laser sights today. Shoot better. Stay safer. Crimson Trace.
Broadcasting nationwide, this is Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. Your views, advice, and questions are the driving force of gun talk. Call Tom now at 866-TALK-GUN. That's 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Or reach out to us via email at tom@guntalk.com. Let us know what you think about the gun-related issues of the day. Now, here's Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you. Tom Gresham at the Gun Rights Policy Conference in Chicago. We're going to be talking gun rights some, and we're going to be talking guns a lot in self-defense in the coming hour. So we're going to be switching it up just a wee bit. Before we do, I do want to mention that you have a chance to get a free holster. All you got to do is go to a couple of Facebook pages. Go to our Facebook page at Gun Talk, easy to find, and also the Alien Gear Holster Facebook page. You go do like both of those. You're good to go. Actually, I'm looking here. Looks like we have made a little change. You go to the YouTube sites, which is cool because that way you get to watch some of our cool videos. So you go to Gun Talk YouTube site and go to the Alien Gear Holster YouTube site, and you subscribe to both of those, and you will be entered into a contest, giving away a bunch of holsters. So pretty cool. It's very easy, simple. You can just do that. I've had a lot of people writing me saying they're really liking those Alien Gear holsters too, by the way. Man, there's a lot of holsters being created. It's like crazy number. And I'm joined, by the way, right now by Dave Workman and Massad Ayoob, two guys who know their way around holsters and handguns, to be sure. Of course, Dave, you've been a holster designer and a holster maker yourself, right?
Yeah, that's right, for about 15, maybe 20 years almost. In fact, I built you a gun belt.
Yes, you did. You did. And I've got like the coolest single-action Ruger in there that a guy did a custom job on that I had no intention of buying whatsoever. Somehow it sits there at my house now. How does that happen? It's a magic thing. Speaking of holsters, it's kind of like handgun ammo. We keep creating new ones because none of them are perfect. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you end up, if you decide to carry, you're going to end up with a box of holsters.
Well, there's a reason you hear the phrase a wardrobe of holsters. One single suit of clothes is not going to cover you for all occasions or all four seasons.
Right.
And the same is true of carry mechanisms.
Yeah, that's one thing that led to a design that I was asked to actually put together many years ago that has been marketed as the so-called tuckable
You
holster.
actually created the tuckable. You were the first guy to do tuckable holster.
Yeah, and I showed the prototype to this guy sitting right next to me.
Really?
He took it back to a gent named Mitch Rosen, who is just a maestro of holster makers. Mm-hmm. He tweaked it a little bit here and there. Now we both build the holster, and everybody else ripped off the design.
Of course they did.
But Mitch Rosen was honest enough. He called it the Workman.
Yeah, and Mitch was just an incredible gentleman. He called me up. We talked for a few minutes. I never heard from anybody else who decided to bring out their own design. And I actually walked. I was at the SHOT Show one time. I was walking past a holster builder who had a knockoff of the Workman. I call it the undershirt. And I said, "That's kind of an interesting holster." And he says, "Yeah, I worked for that for months and months. And it's my original design." I'm sitting there thinking, no, this is probably not the right thing to tell me.
Just walk away, Dave.
Yeah.
Just walk away. It's in the world of handguns. Let's talk handguns for a second here. We have seen more cool, good introductions in the last decade than possibly in the previous 4 or 5 decades. Would you agree? I mean, there's just been an amazing number of good guns being brought out.
The technology is accelerating.
And to go with that, I think the technology in ammunition is making even some of the older guns better, too. We've got ammunition for 380s and 9mm that we didn't have 25 years ago that really make these good defensive firearms.
Oh, yeah.
And the developments of new propellants to speed these bullets along. Mm-hmm. Moss could tell you a lot better than I can because he deals with students who bring different guns to class all the time. But the ammunition out there is top of the line.
What about that? What about the quality of the ammo? And also, I would love for you to touch on the issue of the need to use good ammo or the best ammo for your carry gun.
Well, Jeff Cooper always said the ammunition was the key element. It was the projectile that did the job, and the pistol was merely the launcher. We've seen since, particularly motivated by the 1986 tragedy in Miami involving the FBI shootout, we've seen the development of the FBI protocols for ammunition.
Well, they basically had bullet failures in the FBI shootout.
One of the bullets that struck one perpetrator performed to its designed parameters, went in probably 8 inches, but the shot came from the side, going through the left arm, re-entering at the axilla, going into the chest, and stopping an inch or so before it reached the heart.
Yep.
So the development of the FBI protocols really set a new standard, and the ammunition industry, to keep up and get the lucrative police contracts and the business from the aficionados, if you will, who are following all that in the gun magazines, had to do a heck of a lot of research, a heck of a lot of testing, and we saw the development of designs like the Hydra Shock, the Gold Dot, the Golden Saber from Remington. Today we have cutting-edge designs like the Federal HST, the Winchester Ranger T and Ranger Bonded, which is sold to the public as PDX-1.
Right.
And about 3 weeks ago, I had a chance to watch some testing of the new Gold Dot 2.
Oh, yeah?
Which is probably about 2 years out from reaching the general market. I'm told it's going to FBI now, and will probably be the standard 9mm cartridge when FBI does the changeover.
And the reason that we keep trying to develop better handgun bullets, better handgun ammo, is because a handgun is actually not the best tool you could use to try to stop an attacker. It's just what you have to carry.
Well, exactly. It's portable. We are the victims. We are the reactors. The bad guy is the actor. He gets to move first. Most bad guys don't carry guns all the time. They get to pick and choose the day they're going to use it for their particular nefarious purposes. We are the ones who have to be prepared 24/7 because we're the ones who are going to get the surprise. Therefore, we need portability, and it's why you have so many situations where it's the uniformed officer with his always worn pistol going up against the bad guy with the long gun.
Right.
And you can see the same in armed citizen encounters.
Absolutely. Hold on a second, guys. Take a quick break here. We'll come back. We're talking a little bit more about handguns, ammo, holsters, and absolutely we're going to be talking about gun rights. And Dave's got a new book we need to talk about. Very cool deal. So lots going on here. I'm Tom Gresham, and this is Gun Talk.
The Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently. When it comes to personal protection, nothing beats a Bodyguard. Choose the lightweight, compact, and concealable Bodyguard 380 pistol or the Bodyguard 38 revolver, both with a built-in laser sight. The Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently.
The .45 Auto, also known as the 1911, is the standard other defensive pistols are measured against. No matter what pistol you carry, techniques developed around the 1911 are vital. You know you need training, and you know your concealed carry class definitely was not training. Now Gun Talk presents an exciting DVD, Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. Tiger's unique training style will have you drawing, moving, shooting, and running your gun better no matter what style pistol you prefer. At ShopGunTalk.com, you can order our DVDs of Tiger's instruction. ShopGunTalk.com also has a 2-DVD set, including Concealed Carry 1. Get both for the information you know you need. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com has DVDs, books, and other essential gear. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
No matter what gun you have, you want it to hit harder, shoot faster and flatter, and be more accurate. You get all that with the ammunition from Double Tap. Double Tap's experts select the best bullets, then load them to higher velocities while keeping safe pressures. Shoot small groups. Shoot farther. Use custom hunting loads in your handgun or rifle. Even fire 2 projectiles with one shot. DoubleTapAmmo.com. That's DoubleTapAmmo.com.
The new Walther PPX offers a smooth trigger, ambidextrous magazine release, 3 integral safeties, rugged construction, and the famous Walther ergonomic grip. All this at a great price. Right now, get a free magazine, holster, and dual mag pouch when you purchase a PPX. Feel the perfect fit of the Walther PPX at your local gun dealer or go to WaltherArms.com for more information. That's WaltherArms.com.
You already know Liberty safes are great values. Now they're offering an even sweeter deal for Gun Talk listeners. At LibertySafe.com, click on the Fat Boy safe and type in Tom. Liberty will give you up to $250 off your purchase. Protect the things you value most. LibertySafe.com, click the Fat Boy safe, promo code Tom, save up to $250. That's LibertySafe.com. LibertySafe.com.
Tom is broadcasting live from the Gun Rights Policy Conference in Chicago, Illinois. Now, once again, Tom Gresham.
All righty, we are back with you here. Tom Gresham sitting here with Massad Ayoob, of course, one of the top trainers, book authors, magazine writers, podcasters now. It's just, is there anything you don't do, partner?
I'm not going to touch that on the air.
So I left out TV. We've done a whole bunch of TV together through the years.
Oh, we did. We did 8 seasons of personal defense TV.
Yeah.
You got me started in that, Tom.
Yeah, that was a fun ride, man.
Next January, I'll be on the new Modern Shooter show on Sportsman Channel.
Cool. Outstanding. And I got Dave Workman over here, who I don't actually know what he does. But no one does, Dave.
No, I have trouble figuring it out myself most of the time.
Actually, Dave is like the top reporter, and I use that word with great admiration, true reporter, when it comes to guns, gun rights, and gun issues. And because you cover things like a journalist, not like a gun writer. Fair enough?
Absolutely. Dave's output is phenomenal. He tends to be on top of the political things much faster than the rest of us. Dave, where would listeners go to keep up with you?
Well, I write for Examiner.com. That's a daily column that I pump out.
And make sure you turn on your pop-up blocker.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What an awful website. Oh, my gosh. I mean, I love what you do, but oh, my gosh, to wade through those. And I had to do the pop-up blocker thing before I could do it.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, I get away with saying that the writers do not, we're not responsible for the website.
I know you're not, so that's why I could do that.
Think of it as a feature and not a problem.
That's right. It gives you some exercise with your mouse or
exactly.
something.
It's like playing a video game, hitting the little X's.
It improves your reflexes, so when you get in a gunfight, you can actually draw.
There you go. That's right. You shoot the small targets, they're moving.
Yeah.
Got to think positive.
And then I'm the senior editor of the Gun Mag, which is owned by the Second Amendment Foundation. That actually originally was what brought me over to Gottlieb's shop, Alan Gottlieb, who was your guest here last hour.
Right.
And they brought me on board as the senior editor of the old Gun Week, and then about 3 years ago we transitioned to the Gun Mag, which is a monthly publication, kind of a play on words. It's the Gun Magazine, but we call it the Gun Mag. It seems to be very popular with people. And then I write for, let me think, Gun World, Gun Digest, the magazine. I've been in concealed carry. I have a column on hunting and shooting in Northwest Sportsman, and I also write for Western Shooting Journal. And on my spare time, if I have any, I build a holster now and then, and I actually wrote a book with Alan Gottlieb here just recently.
Well, you've written a bunch of books, but tell me about this latest one.
Well, this one is called Dancing in Blood, and it's about the playbook that Alan actually accidentally stumbled across that had been put together by some anti-gun types who it's like a course on how to make an anti-gun argument, concentrate on emotion, stay away from the facts unless you use the facts for backup.
It quite literally is the gun banner's manual.
Pretty much, yeah. And there's actually more than one. During the period that we were working on the book, we discovered a couple of more of these things. So to amplify what Alan said in the last hour about the billionaires that are buying all of this smart brain power and technology and everything, they're actually in touch with people. They hire people. They work with people who volunteer their time to put together these manuals for the grassroots, and I hate to use that term for gun banners, but the other side is getting organized, and now they've got a couple of really good playbooks that I see the evidence of this stuff popping up all the time.
But you don't just expose that there is a playbook. You dissect it and talk about what's wrong with it, what's factually incorrect, and how to address it.
Well, yeah, and I had the opportunity to ship over a draft copy to Massad here, and he said it best when he gave us a cover line. He said, Workman and Gottlieb got behind enemy lines on this one. And the funny thing about this, Alan knows this because we were at the same hearing together in Olympia, Washington earlier this year talking about a gun control bill. And I was sitting behind one of the anti-gunners, and she actually had on her little tablet a page out of this gun book that she was using to help plan her testimony before this Senate committee.
Whoa.
I wish I'd have gotten a picture of that, but I didn't have a camera with me. So,
Well, I guess the takeaway, though, is if you know what they're using, then you are much better prepared when you go into this fight.
Yeah, that's right. And it reminds me of a scene out of Patton, the great movie where he's yelling up as these tanks were blowing away the Africa Corps.
Rommel, I read your book. I know the line, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fascinating piece of research that we did. We tried to go through a lot of the different stories about why the gun control playbook, the stories are all wet because the people that are typically used as victims of crime, sometimes they had it coming. They're perpetrators, and I think it's a decent book. It's probably not the best thing I ever written, but we worked on it long and hard for several months to put it together.
I see it's available on Amazon. It's also available, I think, directly from Second Amendment Foundation.
Yeah, that's correct.
So it's called Dancing in Blood, Exposing the Gun Ban Lobby's Playbook to Destroy Your Rights. Well done and very helpful, very needed. Anybody who's involved in this fight ought to have a copy of this. So there you go. All right, let's switch back to guns because, come on. One of our secret weapons, guys, is what the other side has is a lot of hate and a lot of fear. They don't have any fun.
No, they don't.
We've got fun because you take somebody out and shoot. We're just talking to Jim, our producer, took 50 new people out last year, introduced them to shooting. And what happens? You guys have all done it. You take somebody out, they've never shot before, they shoot, and they turn around with this wonderful grin, right? And what do they say? Can I do it again?
Yeah.
The birds.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like, and I call it vaccinating them. You have given them the vaccination, and now no one can ever convince them that shooting a gun is evil because they liked it. And they now know from personal experience. And personal experience always trumps what somebody tells you, right?
Well, we have to remember that the shooting sports are among the most popular sports in the United States and always have been, particularly in the rural areas.
Just had some new stats come out that shooting sports dwarf even golf in terms of participation and dollars spent.
And you don't have to dress funny.
Or wait for a tea time.
But if you'd like, you can if you'd like to, though.
Yeah.
Some of our people are proof of that.
There is that. I want the plaid tactical BDUs, so there you go.
I'll go back to cowboy shooting for that side of it, or my name isn't Camelback Kid.
Which kind of brings me to something. It's a topic that we've kind of talked about in the past. The idea of talking about concealed carry now, protecting yourself. I see more and more people, or maybe it's just the fact that we have more people getting involved in it carrying, who look like Tommy Tactical when they're walking around in their daily lives. They've got their 911s on, they got their combat boots on. It's like you expect them to see them, wearing their Molly gear, and I look at him and say, are you just wanting somebody to pick you out? What? And Mouse, you write about this all the time. I mean, you're considered one of the leading experts on concealed carry and self-defense. Talk, if you would, about kind of how you conduct yourself, how you dress. There's a whole ethic and ethos to this.
Well, right now I'm standing here actually wearing a pair of 511s.
Right.
The kids, of course, call them cargo pants. You see them all over every place, from walking through Disney World to being on the airplane. They're particularly useful as travel pants, if you will.
I love because they got pockets.
The pockets.
I'm like Captain Kangaroo.
Yeah.
I got pockets everywhere.
You're a walking file cabinet.
Yeah.
They're comfortable.
Yep.
If you feel the tactical vest is a giveaway, then certainly don't wear it. What I found when I'm wearing one is most people ask, going fishing? Are you a photographer?
Oh, when you're wearing the vest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today I'm wearing essentially a Columbia-style shirt over 511s.
Right.
I've got double pockets in the breast of it. I've got the 2 cell phones, the notebooks that I need for what we're doing here and all this. And I'm just another yuppie tourist in Chicago.
With 16 guns on it somewhere, We actually did, I got to tell you, we did the deal one time with Massad for TV. We did the how many guns can you hide on you deal. Was it John Bianchi did that?
Bianchi did that
a long time ago. Now, the funniest part of it was...
Chick Gaylord did it before him.
Okay. We ended up doing it. I think we pulled 26 guns off of you. And then we're done. We've shut the cameras down. And you walk away and you started patting yourself down and you go, I missed 2 of them.
That was a true story. And 2 years ago, we did an update of that for Panteo Productions.
Right.
The Ayoob on concealed carry film. And managed to set a new record. It turns out carrying slightly over 50 loaded handguns on your person adds about 66 pounds of weight.
Yeah, just what you don't want to do is fall into a lake doing that, because you're not getting out at that point. Hold on, guys. We'll take another quick break here. We're talking with Dave Workman, Massad Ayoob, 2 of the great handgunner guys in the country, self-defense, and also we'll talk a little bit about hunting with Dave, who he's been known to go out, do just a wee bit of that when he can. So, all right, I'm Tom Gresham. We're at the Gun Rights Policy Conference in Chicago. We'll be right back.
Tom Gresham's Gun Talk is broadcast nationwide every Sunday. If you can't hear Gun Talk where you live, call your local talk format station and clue them in on Gun Talk. Stay tuned. We're coming right back. Now broadcasting nationwide on radio, via satellite, and through downloads, iTunes, the Gun Talk app, and other podcast clients. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you here. We've been talking gun rights, talking about guns, and lots of good stuff. We're talking right now with Dave Workman, Massad Ayoob. It's always funny, guys. I wish they could be here during the breaks, because during the breaks, we talk about the exact same thing we talk about when the radio's on, don't we? We just talk about guns. And
we
stuff.
are one-trick ponies.
It's actually we're fairly pathetic when you actually
lives. We need lives.
That's right. We have a life. It's just not very broad. It's just like Well, you know what it is. We're gun geeks. I mean, in the truest and best sense of the word. I mean, we just like gun stuff, whether it's calibers. How many times have you been in a hotel room and you can remember your room because it's a caliber?
Or a gun model.
Or a gun model. Yeah. What's your room number? It's a Smith & Wesson Model 51, 41, or whatever. I mean, a guy came to me today. He says, "Hey, I'm in room 308." He says, because I talked about it on the radio. He says, I said, "Yeah, happens all." And of course, the more calibers you know, the more likely it is to happen.
And the more gun models.
Yeah.
I do some mnemonics on phone numbers like that.
Oh, no kidding.
I visualize the model of the gun. And
isn't that funny? Yeah. Now we are definitely geeks. I mean, it's one of the offshoots, the fun parts of it. And we read books like Cartridges of the World, and we're going, the 222 and the 223. What's the difference? Oh, would you like to know? Sit down. I'll I mean, it's like we could bore anybody with this stuff. So there you go. We were talking during the break, and I wanted to kind of touch on this. Is talk about self-defense. Massad, you wrote one of the original and certainly one of the very best books on self-defense called In the Gravest Extreme. That was some 25 years ago?
34.
34 years ago. It is still, Dave?
Yeah. It's still what I consider to be the definitive book on firearms and self-defense.
Absolutely agree. And it's a small book.
Yeah.
It's not a big book. Now, you've done a number of them since then, of course. You've done the books with Gun Digest.
Yeah, 15 or 16. The most recent, this year, were a small book, Gun Digest book of gun safety. Mm-hmm. And the 10 years after the first one, the second edition of Gun Digest book of Sig Sauer, with an update on their various pistols.
Right. Talk about a company that's just exploding right now. Holy cow, they just doubled their floor space, and they're out of space again.
Yeah, I've toured the facility, and it's a magnificent state-of-the-art facility.
It is. And their academy there is fabulous.
They're doing a great job. Every time I go up there, the place is as busy as a university.
Yeah, it's really something. And I think a lot of people don't even think of them as being a training facility.
Oh, they're one of the best in the country, and they also have a pro shop that just makes us gun geeks salivate.
Yeah. I just walk in and go, I want that, I want that, I want that. Oh, man. But then again, I do that in every gun store, so... what are you going to do? More to the point, you also have your training program. You take it. It's on the road.
Yes, sir.
You travel the country doing this. How do people find out more about that?
That will be at the website, MassadAyoobGroup.com.
Okay.
We should have our 2015 schedule out within a couple of months.
All right. And what does those classes consist of?
We have various programs, starting basic and going fairly advanced. On shooting, the first level starts with a handgun. Some of our advanced programs include rifle and shotgun. The core program is an introduction to deadly force that we've tried to craft to take the individual beyond law school. And every one of the attorneys and judges who've taken the course told us we'd achieved that. Essentially, we want the private citizen to know the rules of engagement, when they can, when they can't, what needs to be done at the scene, and how to manage the aftermath, both legally and emotionally.
Right. Okay. And so people can sign up. They can go check the schedule here shortly. It'll be up on the website and do that thing. One of the things I wanted to at least let people know, and Dave, you talked about this during the break, is people know you, Mas, as a trainer and as an author. What they don't know you as, and Dave, I'll let you weigh in on this one, is just how good this guy could shoot.
He is a phenomenal shooter, a handgun shooter. I've shot against him. I've shot a couple of times with him. And he just leaves me in the dust. And a lot of people say I'm the best that they've ever seen. But I just am a small shadow to this guy. He is remarkably good and safe handgun shot.
Well, people don't know about your background in competitive shooting. You got into competitive shooting a long time ago.
Yeah, I started shooting in my late teens in an NRA competition pistol. Got in a police competition in the early 1970s. IPSC as soon as it got out beyond California. And, the ground floor on IDPA.
Right.
And I still strongly recommend it to my graduates. Competition is not the gunfight, obviously. But it's certainly a component of training. It makes a gun in your hand under stress become the norm instead of this choking, this is it moment.
Hold on to that thought. Take a quick break. We're going to come back because we want to talk about Jim Cirillo and pulling that information, what he did with that. And we ought to at least let people know just a little bit about Jim.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they need to. We'll be right back with more Gun Talk.
Brownells proudly celebrates 75 years of history and heritage as the world's first choice for firearms, accessories, ammunition, and gunsmithing tools. So whether you're a gunsmith in need of parts and supplies, a new shooter looking for the perfect holster, or a skilled competitor seeking the latest gear, Brownells has what you need. And best of all, every purchase comes with the industry's only forever satisfaction guarantee. Visit us at Brownells.com.
Hi, I'm Tom Gresham. For more than 40 years, I've been watching an environmental disaster in my backyard, and it actually impacts all sportsmen in America. I'm talking about the massive loss of land on the Louisiana coastline. The U.S. Geological Survey said the swamps and marshes of coastal Louisiana are among the nation's most fragile and valuable wetlands. That land is disappearing. The Mississippi River Delta hosts as many as 10 million ducks and geese every winter. These are birds which migrate northward through the states, all the way to Canada. The wetlands of the Delta support some of America's best fresh and saltwater fishing. And here's the deal. The wetlands of the Mississippi River Delta are disappearing at a rate of 1 football field every hour. 1 football field every hour. Gone. We can reconnect the river with its wetlands and restore the Delta, but we need your help. Please visit vanishingparadise.org. That's vanishingparadise.org.
Hey everyone, I'm Doug Koenig, winner of more than 60 national and world shooting championships. You know what? I'm here to tell you that the only thing I like better than competitive matches with high-powered pistols and better than hunting big white-tailed deer is watching NRA Freedom Friday presented by Cheaper Than Dirt on the Pursuit Channel. It's true what they say. Pursuit Channel delivers the outdoors.
Hi, I'm Michael Bain. You know I hate cleaning guns, so anything that makes that job faster and easier is definitely a plus. And that's where Bore Tips come in. These reusable, lint-free cleaning swabs make cleaning a breeze. And the tighter-fitting Bore Tips do a better job on barrels than cotton mops or patches. Hey, it's a dirty job. Let Bore Tips help. To find a dealer, visit boretips.com.
If you're looking for a safe and trusted way to sell your firearms, look no further than Dury's Gun Shop. I trusted them to sell my dad's collection. They built their business for over 50 years on honesty and customer service. Dury's Guns will buy any size collection or estate, none too big or too small. Selling your firearms to Dury's Guns is easy. Go with the pros. I trust Dury's Guns. Dury'sGuns.com.
In my world, there are no helpless victims. There is no weaker sex. In my world, pain comes from fear, and fear is not an option. But my world is just like yours. Only difference, how I choose to defend myself.
Introducing the Carry On series from Taurus, the ultimate collection of concealed carry firearms designed for discreet, reliable personal protection. Visit TaurusUSA.com to learn more.
Carry On.
You're listening to Gun Talk on location at the 29th Annual GRPC in Chicago, Illinois. Now, with all the latest on this year's conference, once again, here's Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you. Massad is here. Dave Workman is here. We're talking, surprise, surprise, we're talking guns during the break. Talking holsters. When I left off, I mentioned Jim Cirillo, and I think this is a perfect time, if you would, Massad, to tell people who Jim was, what he did, what he accomplished, and what we can all learn from that.
Jim was one of the most famous police gunfighters of the 20th century. He and his partner Bill Allard were among about 30 men that were recruited out of the firearms training unit of NYPD to form the Stakeout Squad in the 1960s. There had been a rash of particularly atrocious armed robberies with people killed and maimed, and the city figured enough is enough, we've got to play hardball. These guys, when somebody got a tip that the place was going to be hit, they would be staked out, 2 officers at a time. And when the perpetrators came in, they would be challenged by the officers. Many times the bad guys dropped their guns, but many times the bad guys turned on the cops.
They chose poorly.
Well put. And nature took its course. Jim and Bill both wound up having to kill a whole lot of people, all adjudicated as justifiable homicides. Both learned a great deal from it and shared a great deal with other cops, and in Jim's case, with armed citizens around the country.
Right.
And both were very strong advocates of competitive shooting.
That's what I wanted to touch on, because I remember, I think it was you that told me. He said there was a shooting where it was over. He took 3 guys.
Jim Cirillo took out 3 men in 3 seconds.
Using a revolver.
Smith & Wesson Model 10. And he told me after that his strongest memory of the fight was seeing the front side of that Model 10 in such stark base relief that he could see every imperfection in the grooves that were machined on it. And for listeners not familiar with that gun, the front side of a Smith & Wesson Model 10 is 1/8 of an inch wide. His partner Allard, the exact same thing. We did a podcast with Bill after his retirement. He's still around. And that's available at Pro Arms Podcast. But on there, you'll hear Bill tell you that with one single exception, every man he ever shot, he had an absolute hard focus on his front sight. And Bill Allard never fired a shot that missed a human being.
Well, and you can only have that hard focus on the front sight if you have done it thousands of times in practice and, frankly, I would offer in competition, because you've got to find some way to ramp up the adrenaline. I mean, you know about this.
That's what both those men said. And to that, I would add a third thing. The competition certainly was the a part of the recipe of making shooting under stress the norm.
Right.
A part of it was the constant repetition that of course, men like that indulged in. But the third was having the very strong mental plan beforehand that given this certain stimulus, by God, I will carry out this.
So they had pre-programmed themselves.
Exactly. And the history of it is that tends to work.
Yeah.
If you go back and read Stuart Lake's biography of Wyatt Earp, written with Earp in the 1920s when he found Earp still alive in California, and published after Earp's death in 1931, but still available. Earp told Lake that, again, with one exception, every single man he ever shot, long gun or handgun, he was very careful to align what was called then the foresight with the back sight, and was very careful to squeeze, not jerk the trigger. And in the correspondence between them when they were putting the book together, Lake, who had kind of taken Earp as his idol, said something like, "Gosh, Wyatt, how could you be cool enough to do that when men were shooting at you?" And it's written words, but you can almost hear the snap in Earp's voice when he comes back and says, "Stuart, that's the point. I shot them when they were shooting at me." And I submit all these years later, there's a lesson there.
Yeah, it's what do they say? Above everything else, you have to be willing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that. We lost Jim.
We did in 2007. We were just discussing it off the air. A very tragic car crash. Jim would have been, I think, about 73. And
but you can read. But you can read his work. I mean,
yes, particularly his classic book, "Guns, Bullets, and Gunfighting," by Jim Cirillo, Cirillo, from Paladin Press, and also from Paladin, the awesome biography on him by his friend Paul Kirshner. And the title of that is Jim Cirillo and Tales of the Stakeout Squad.
It is fascinating reading. It is just amazing. What the Stakeout Squad did was amazing. No one in politics and authority now would have the guts to do. We'll basically say, okay, when the bad guys come, we're going to give them a momentary, brief opportunity to give up. If not, we're just going to shoot them dead. Yeah. It's a real simple process here. And what happened to crime?
Well, the history of it was, and during the years when the Stakeout Squad was running, every time there was a shooting, the fellows told me that for weeks and weeks afterwards, for many, many blocks around wherever the shooting was, would be absolutely armed robbery free. Bad guys read the newspaper and watch TV too. Yeah. And predators tend to be acutely aware of their own survival.
Yeah, they're not necessarily stupid. They just do this as a choice. Yeah. But they're smart enough, as you say, they have a highly developed sense of self-preservation, the bad guys do. And they say, well, you've got trained guys who are really good at what they do, and they're not just willing, they are actually shooting the bad guys and making them go away. I think we will take a little break and maybe go somewhere else, and sometimes that's good enough to get them out of your neighborhood. Just a second here, guys. We'll take another quick break before we wrap this thing up. We're talking with Dave Workman, Massad, Ayoob. We're at the Gun Rights Policy Conference. We'll be talking about a little bit more about guns, a little bit more about ammo, and certainly holsters when we come back. I'm Tom Gresham. You're listening to Gun Talk. Check it out, guntalk.com.
Join the NRA via Tom Gresham's Gun Talk website and receive $10 off the regular membership price. Log on to guntalk.com for details. You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. Catch Gun Talk live on Sundays or tune into the podcast, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Stitcher, iPhone or Android apps any day of the week. Also on YouTube. Visit guntalk.com/listen for more details.
What was it he just said? Was that blue-haired bluing? Was he talking about us?
Well, some of us who have hair, I guess.
Your man here, Sonny.
Oh, we're just having a quick conversation about all the new people coming in, concealed carry. You got a lot of older people in their 60s or even 70s buying their very first gun. And for them, frankly, a lot of them, and I've always said, man, I can teach anybody to rack a slide. It's all technique. Mm-hmm. Well, except that maybe not. And you teach more people than us put together, for sure. What do you see?
Well, you get somebody who's got osteoporosis, advanced arthritis. We can show them how to overpower the slide, but it's still going to be uncomfortable for them. It's still going to hurt a little bit. So we recommend something with an easier running slide. It's one reason the Glocks and the other striker-fired pistols are so popular. Mm-hmm. And I think, honestly, one reason we're seeing such a great surge of interest in the 9mm 1911 is that particular pistol, if you just bring the hammer back with the heel of your other hand and relieve the mainspring tension.
So you cock the hammer first.
Yeah, and now there's just the recoil spring to work against,
and it's
which is
much
very, very
lighter.
light. It's like half the resistance of a 45.
And not even to mention the fact that they are just fabulous to shoot.
Oh, there's virtually no recoil, but still very accurate. If you get a good quality one, they finally learned to make them reliable.
Right, because the platform was designed around the 45.
Sure.
But a good 9mm 1911 is a fabulous thing to shoot.
It absolutely is.
Now, you're also talking to three guys here who love the 1911.
Well, carry one every day.
And so, I mean, it's like, we all genuflect when you do, John Browning, 1911. But having said all of that, the 380, of course, becomes viable with the new ammo, the great ammo we have. But honestly, we were having this conversation. If somebody says, all I can handle is a 22,
go for it.
Have the 22. History has taught me it's much less about what kind of gun you had than it's going to be about, did you have a gun?
Yeah.
Did you see the danger coming in time to get the gun out before the other guy got the gun out? Did you make it clear to this guy that if he continued his violent attack, his life was likely to end? If he goes past that and attacks, are you able to put that bullet exactly where it needs to go? Only after all of those have been decided is it going to matter a rat's patoot whether it was a 22, a 9mm, or a 45.
Mm-hmm. There you go. So what you're saying is it's more software than hardware.
If you think about it, all of human conflict is more software than hardware.
It absolutely is. All right, Dave, the name of your new book.
Dancing in Blood.
By Dave Workman and
Alan Gottlieb. Yeah.
Exactly right. And it is the expose of literally the handbook that the gun banners are using now.
Yeah, and as I said before, there's more than one of these handbooks out there, so read the book and you'll find out all about them.
There you go. Moss, how can people track you down? Where can they find you these days?
That would be MassadAyoobGroup.com, MassadAYOOB Group. We do courses coast to coast in the Four Corners and the Heartland. And except for Alaska and Hawaii, and who knows, we might have those next year, in the lower 48 at least, we're close enough to be in striking distance for most everyone.
And I can tell you a class with Massad Ayoob is an eye-opening and powerful experience. Thank you guys for being here. This was fun.
Pleasure.
Thank you for all you do for all of us in the movement, man.
I just blab. I'm just making noise out here, man. Just doing what we can do. All right, everybody, here's your marching orders for the week. Find somebody who doesn't shoot, invite them out. 50% of the people who were asked said, if I would go shooting if someone would just ask me. It's up to us. We got to do our part. You got to ask them. Get out there, take them to the range, but above all, be safe and have a good time. See you next week.